what happened in Bangalore today, because there was a huge protest that was organized today for Gauri Lankesh, the journalist who was murdered at her home just last week. Let's take a look at what happened in Bangalore today and come back to talk about that, because it's something that Rahul Gandhi also raised in his speech. Was that an exaggeration, as Tavleen Singh was suggesting earlier, or not? Let's take a look.
1 week after Gauri Lankesh's murder, many Bengalurians, and those from outside the state as well, made it a point to attend this big rally.
I am Gauri, that's the slogan everyone is hearing at this mega rally that has come together under the banner of Gauri Hatya Virodhi Samiti here in Bengaluru.
Why should there be hate? We are one people. Whatever we think and whatever we say, violence is not the answer. Never.
I think it's the fact that there's a shrinking space for dissension right now in the country.
There have been no arrests so far as a special investigative team pores over grainy CCTV footage and examines possible links to the killing of Professor MM Kalburgi in a similar manner just over 2 years ago. Even that earlier case remains unsolved. Other rationalists have got police protection.
Of course, security is given by the Karnataka government on its own, for which I am very thankful to them.
When did it start?
It was started the very next day of the assassination of Dr. Kalburgi.
I am Gauri, we are all Gauri. This is the message being sent out today from this massive protest held in Bengaluru. It is 1 week since a journalist was killed outside her own home on Tuesday evening. And the people here are trying to send out the message that they are still angry, they are still outraged, they are still sorrowful, and that the ideas that Gauri stood for will survive after her death. With Harish Upadhyaya, Maya Sharma in Bengaluru for NDTV.
Well, we have actor Chetan Kumar joining us from Bangalore as well for this segment this evening. Mr. Kumar, let me just ask you how you're feeling about all of this 1 week later. There's been no significant progress on Gauri Lankesh's murder, the investigation aspect of that. At the same time, now you have a number of progressive thinkers, intellectuals and so on who have got police protection, 24-hour police protection from the Karnataka government. Does that make you feel any safer? Does that reassure you in any way?
First of all, I did attend the conference today, and we were very pleased with the turnout from people all over the state, all over the country, who came out to protest against hate politics in favor of the love and the unity and the fraternity that Gauri Lankesh supported. Gauri Lankesh, I knew her well. She taught me a lot about the legacy of Baba Sahib Ambedkar, as well as the revolutionary ideas of Basavarna, the social reformer, who a lot of people are fighting for a separate Lingayat religion for that at this moment. This is an important issue to discuss, because Gauri Lankesh vouched for a separate Lingayat religion. MM Kalburgi also vouched for a separate Lingayat religion, and they were both killed, as well as other people, in this manner. On top of it, we have to look, Gauri Lankesh started the Forum for Communal Harmony. She fought against patriarchy, corruption, any kind of religious extremism and fundamentalism of all religions in favor of Dalits, minorities, women. But on top of it, she spoke truth to power, and she was a real patriot. The thing is, what happened on Tuesday evening, the events of Tuesday evening was not just an assassination, it was an act of terror. What is terrorism? Terrorism is essentially an act of violence against a civilian in the name of a religious or political ideology. Here there were many forces involved, fundamentalist forces, and the way they killed Gauri Lankesh was a very mercenary-like way, in that there were 6 bullets discharged in a matter of 15 seconds with the same guns that killed Dabolkar, Pansare, Kalburgi and Gauri Lankesh in the same gun. Now, there's a lot of mudslinging between the political parties going on. Congress blaming the BJP, BJP blaming the Congress. Both parties are to blame. Congress government essentially has not protected progressives' lives. Progressives, intellectuals, activists, everybody who through nonviolence supports the upholding of democracy and discourse, their lives have been neglected. Even MM Kalburgi, when he first went and asked for police protection from the government of Karnataka in 2015, the Siddaramaya government, he was refused. And in August 2015, he was shot. Gauri Lankesh, who was very close and had a mutual respect with Siddaramaya, she was also killed in 2017. So there's been a neglect now, when
Rahul Gandhi spoke about hatred and violence and polarization in India, and this was something Tavleen Singh was criticizing in the last segment, because he made this reference to liberal journalists being shot, which was a reference to Gauri, obviously, people being lynched because they're Dalits, Muslims being killed on the suspicion of eating beef. These are his quotes. Tavleen's point at that time was that this was an exaggeration of the situation, and she had a point in that journalists have been killed before. That is true. In fact, I think some 22 journalists have been killed in India since 2013. And I'm not going to get into the whataboutery argument. Her argument, though, was that this was an exaggeration of the way things stand in India today. What do you think?
I do not believe that's an exaggeration. In fact, if you look at Gauri Lankesh's case itself, Gauri Lankesh's father, P. Lankesh, was a very strong revolutionary thinker and a strong progressive ideologue. His words were even stronger than Gauri Lankesh's criticism of fascism, of hierarchy and inequality, and he was never targeted. Whether it be Baba Sahib Ambedkar or Gandhi, they were never killed, obviously, even though they had very strong ideals. See, what is happening now is there is a kind of culture of fear and that is creeping in because of these scare tactics and intolerance. In fact, in Karnataka, what has happened is the BJP government is justifying this kind of terror because MLA called Jivraj said if Gauri Lankesh did not write about certain things, whether it be the Sangh Parivar or whatever, then she would still be alive today. What that shows is that there is no more an acceptance of...
Okay, let me get Professor Sinha in. Professor Sinha, when you see the kind of number of people who came out to protest today in Karnataka over this, what Chetan is saying as well, what would you say to Chetan who feels worried today?
I think there should be more protests because these protests attract the attention of the common people for communal harmony and the harmonious civil society. In democracy, there should be a space for extreme conservatism to extreme radical elements. This is legitimate. We deter them to becoming a ruling ideology by our logic, by our mobilization, by creating consciousness. So, Gauri Lankesh's killing is a killing of not only a killing of one journalist or so-called radical revolutionary, but the killing of a great Indian citizen. So, I do not differentiate between progressive's life and so-called reactionary's life. And I would not talk about Gauri Lankesh when she has tweeted a sketch where the RSS people are killed in Kerala and Kerala is being cleansed. So, I am not talking because I am not talking about her identity, about her politics, her ideology, but everyone should be given safeguard by the state. And I am critical of the Karnataka government. There is no progress arresting the people. Here is a Congress government. You are talking of a BJP MLA. Some disgruntled element when they find that they do not get the ticket, they are being marginalized in the party, they come with the extreme statement to take a revenge from the party and you are making the narrative from that. This is a really shameful.
I completely agree with you that the Karnataka government has to get its act together.
I disagree with the gentleman that you are establishing the narrative that she essentially killed due to her religious feeling, her criticism to the Hindutva. How you are coming to this conclusion without any investigation? There might be 100 of the reasons. She was critical to Hindutva, everybody knows. We know. There are 100 of the people critical.
Don't jump to
Nidhi is critical of the BJP RSS. That doesn't mean that there would be attack on her. Anybody comes to her, I would protect. I will give my life. Anyone who is killing anyone who is critical to Hindutva, I will first give my life. RSS people don't have time to follow all these nonsense. And I'm telling you that don't compare the fringe elements with the Hindutva movement, whosoever may be. Whether the fringe elements belong to Naxal group, whether they are trying to they are trying to hide the Naxal groups because the last two tweets categorically indicated that you are doing some peacemaking of the Naxal groups.
Like
you are trying to do.
So
these are very important. They are trying to
we don't know who killed her. But Amy Kasman, how has this played out on the world stage vis-a-vis India?
Look, I definitely am not going to try to play detective.
We don't know, and I said that from day one.
But again, I think that it's important to see that this killing comes in a context where civil debate, and I mean, Professor Sinha has talked about, we should defeat people with ideas, and we should defeat people with our reason and our logic. And I mean, I haven't been here, for decades in India, but I feel that, it's hard to know how it was before, but it seems that now the public debate and the nature of public debate, especially on the social media space, which is really absorbing everybody, but also on a lot of television news channels, is anything but people trying to, really, really hear each other's arguments, find common ground, find points of dispute, and persuade anyone else. I mean, on many channels, the tone of debate is to shout down the person who you disagree with, maybe with some exceptions like NDTV, but there are channels where the whole name of the game is like, who shouts louder? So this is not about engaging people in logic and reason. It's about kind of deciding who's the enemy and who's the straw man. And likewise on social media, a lot of the discourse on social media, and you know, and I've been personally exposed to it, is just abuse after abuse after abuse, and there isn't really an attempt to
have a sane conversation
and have civil debate. And I think that is the context in which one has to see this. And you know, the day after the killing, you know, there was a meeting of all media people, and somebody said, you know, in the past I've always dismissed these death threats, which I get on my Twitter feed all the time. I used to dismiss them. They're cranks, they're lunatic, you know, they're just some guy sitting in their laptop. But who will feel safe to just dismiss them and not take them seriously now?
So is it, Rajiv Desai, that we are genuinely a more polarized society today, as Rahul Gandhi seemed to suggest in that speech? Or is that just a little bit of an exaggeration again? Is that too alarmist?
I don't think that polarization occurs naturally. So whether we are more polarized today or not, it's difficult to say. But I do know that the strategy of the BJP has been to polarize, going all the way back to the Ayodhya mosque and all of that. I am from Gujarat, and I've seen that happen there. That's the way they function. That's the way. But I don't think it's a lost cause. I don't think it's a lost cause. I think there's enough civil institutions in India to fob this off, this artificial polarization, in order to gain votes, in order to make a point, in order to gain support. I think that would change.
Those pictures from Bangalore today, quite telling. It is actually quite telling to see the way that people have come out in those numbers, and it's good to see Rakesh Sinha saying here today that any kind of killing, any kind of violence, irrespective of ideologies, is something that needs to be condemned. And I agree. That is something that is absolutely essential. Thank you to all of you for joining us on the program tonight to discuss this vast range of issues this evening.